All I ask is you respect my hustle. Find out what it means as I sock it to you on this segment of the Gig Geezer. Thanks for joining me on this hustle this evening, February 27, 2022. It's a Sunday evening. Sundays can be a very good day for me. And then again, Sundays can be very disappointing. For that matter, you can say that with any day. But this particular day, the goals are, you would think, are gettable. One of the goals is to have a strong hustle, meaning that I would like to earn between $125 and $149. The other goal is, since I'll be putting in 6.5 days this week, the numbers stack up to where there is a strong possibility that I could top $1,400 for money earned this week. Now, coming in, my first half hustle today was $113 and change, meaning that if I have really a typical Gig Geezer hustle, but more of a strong Gig Geezer hustle, meaning that if I earn over $115, let's say $116, I could top $1,400 again this week. And that would be, for me, a pretty good accomplishment, because that would mean that I would earn somewhere around $230 today. And I often say that my numbers are typically between 2.0, 210, maybe hitting a 220. And that was pretty much characteristic of this week. The reason why a lot of times my numbers end up there is because once I get around that $200 mark, I just don't feel like doing anymore. It's not that I get fat cat or anything like that. I just don't feel like it. I'm ready to go home and do something else. So that's how things set up now. And so I'm about to turn on the apps, and I'll catch you when I've accepted an order. I'm going to get off to that booming start that I've been used to for the last week or so. Amid a lot of orders that had come through that really were taking me in the opposite direction where I wanted to go, or they just weren't worth my while, I accepted an order and paid UberEats from China Garden Restaurant for $20.73. Now, one thing about this particular order is actually taking me in the area that I really would like to try to work today. And so we'll see if my stubbornness or my persistence of wanting to work in that part of the metropolitan area will pay off today. It may not pay off immediately, but we'll see. China Garden is pretty good with getting orders out, even on an order and pay situation. And so the drop-off location is going to be about 12 to 15 minutes away. Now that kind of puts me in a bind in the first hour, but again, I'm hoping that I can catch a couple of orders in which they require a hot cold bag, or it's one of those classic hit and tip / unicorn type orders. If I can catch a couple unicorns over in the part of town that I'm working, then it could very well set up to be where I do hit that goal of $125 or better in this hustle. Now, the other thing is that, as always, when I'm out here, my goal is to complete anywhere between 7 and 9 orders. And so right now we're going to have one down and 6 to 8 to go. 6 to 8 orders to go. And that's where we at right now, and I'll get back with you. Well, the Gig Geezer will not be going to the UberEats Drop Off empty-handed, in that I happen to accept a $13 Bite Squad / waiter order from a nearby Lizard Thicket. Now, the Lizard Thicket location from China Garden is actually like 3 minutes away. The Lizard Thicket drop-off is actually about 7 to 10 minutes away, but it is actually en route to the UberEats drop-off. It may not seem that way, at least if you were to look at it on the map, but it actually is. And so instead of looking at just $20 and change, the Gig Geezer is looking at $33 and change for the first hour. And we're probably looking at being out here for 3.5, maybe to 4 hours this evening. That's probably how long it may take me to reach 125 if I'm able to get there. With 2 orders in hand, as always, I say 7 to 9 orders is my goal for each hustle. So that means I will need to have another 5 to 7 orders completed in order to put myself in a really good position to realize those numbers. Okay, so we have dropped off the waiter/bite squad order, and we are now making progress towards the UberEats Drop Off, which, by the way, is pretty far off into the subdivision. It's not the furthest point that I've gone before, but it's going to be pretty far off in there. Nothing unusual there for the gig geezer. One other set of numbers that I wanted to put out there. As it stands, going into this second half hustle, the gig geezer has earned over $5,400 in his gig earnings for the month of February. If I were to finish out today and tomorrow, somewhere's on pace as what I would like. I stand to be somewhere's in the $5,700 range for the month, and that's pretty good for the month of February. Overall, that would put the gig geezer squarely over 12 G's for the month for monies earned so far in 2022 for gig earnings. So just something else to throw out there. How's your hustles been? We've gone through some slow times. It looks like things are somewhat picking up, maybe because people are starting to get their tax returns, or it's just that time of year where people start spending again after kind of getting caught up on their holiday spending. Whatever the case is, I have noticed a slight upturn in things. I've noticed where restaurants are much more filled to capacity, and the online orders have picked up as well. We've dropped off the Uber Eats from China Garden, and now we're going to be working another Uber Eats order and pay, which will be from a CVS pharmacy. Now, the reason why I'm working this as opposed to a Grubhub that I also had accepted for $13 and change from Golden Corral is because the drop-off location from the CVS is not far from there. It's probably within 5-6 minutes, whereas I'd have to drive 10 minutes or so over to Golden Corral and then drive another 10 minutes or so for that drop-off location. And while both addresses would probably keep me in the area that I'm attempting to work this evening, the other reason, and you know what, I give it like a around the world reason though, but the Uber Eats pays more, $21.22 as opposed to $13 and change. But I just wanted to at least give an explanation why I chose one over the other. There is not always just immediately you see the money. You also have to think about how does it work into your strategy, because sometimes as I have shown in segments of the Gig Geezer, I have taken orders that have paid less, but then it had worked better into my strategy. All right, getting you up to date. Now, no sooner than I got to the stoplight after dropping off the Uber Eats order, I caught I accepted a DoorDash mod pizza order for $11.29. Now that on the map looks like it's taking me way out of the way, but it's actually taking me on the shadows of downtown Columbia area, and I'm okay with that. Now, what I also did was I accepted a Grubhub stacked order that appeared for $23.20. But one of the orders was from Marco Pizza. And I knew what Grubhub had done was paired that with another order, which is from Casa Linda. And that order is actually, the drop-off location for that order is no more than 5 minutes away. But the other order is actually taking you on base. And I don't want to go on base this evening. Now, if I'm guessing that the Grubhub order is going to pay more than $10, at least the part that I accepted. Because if memory serves me correct, the other one's for like $13. This one's for $23. Okay, so this one is going to pay somewhere around $10. The other one actually paid more, but I'm taking one that pays less, but it's keeping me going because I'm stacking orders. Now, the other thing is the other one is still the Uber Eats CVS order. Now, if I execute this correctly, what I'm going to be able to do is get in and get out with the Uber Eats order, or I'm going to stop, walk out, and go over to Casa Linda and take care of that order, and keep myself open so that I can complete the DoorDash order in a timely manner. Now, I know that don't make any sense, but I'm going to repeat it again. Here's what's going on. I picked up the Mod Pizza order. That one's offering $11.25. The Grubhub order is going to pay somewhere around $10 from Casa Linda. That drop-off location would be en route to dropping off the DoorDash order. But in between is a UberEats order for $21.22, and that's a pick up and pay order in which I got to do the shopping. Now, if I do that in an efficient manner, it's really going to be bang, 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 because the drop-off location is just less than 5 minutes away. And it still gives me a chance to still do the Casa Linda order. If not, if the Uber Eats order takes too long, I can drop it and then go ahead on over to Casa Linda. Anyway, I'm going to have at least 2 orders to drop off, maybe 3. Remember I said the Gig Easer is going to come out of this having at least 2 of 3, maybe 3 of 3. I'm still on 3 of 3 as it is right now. But what happened was I gave up the Grubhub order from Casa Linda in favor of another shop and pay order from Uber Eats. This time for a young lady who apparently is trying to find out whether she is or isn't. Yes, it's one of those. And I think also if she is, she wants to try to seek a quick solution to that problem. That's all I'm going to say about it. I'll just post what the item is, and you figure that out for yourself. We are grown folk here. But that order is for $21 if it is available. Yes, so I'm passing up a $10 order in favor of a $21 order, but I still have the DoorDash order to drop off, which I am still in the running of doing. Now, as it stands, I've got 16 minutes plus another 5. I've got 25 minutes to get there. Uber Eats should take only a couple minutes to go in and get it. Now, the question is how many people I have to wait in line behind. But I still stand to get to the DoorDash drop-off and then jet over to the Uber Eats drop-off as well. Yes, if that makes any sense, you're a pretty smart person. But the fact is, bottom line is, the Gig Easer stands right now to pull off a $50 play. That's what we're talking about. A $50 play. He's already completed one $21.22 Uber Eats order. He still has his $11.25 DoorDash order, and then the $21 Uber Eats order. That's a pretty good chunk of change right there. We're talking $53, $54 if I can pull it off. I've got to bring y'all up to date with what's going on. I've had a lot of orders that I've accepted, held, and let go, and now currently as it stands, I have in hand a Bite Squad order for $9 from Tropical Smoothie. I am just around the corner from picking up another Bite Squad order from a Vietnamese restaurant, Pho Viet. I hope that's the way it's pronounced, for $10. And then I also have in hand a Grubhub order for $13 and change from Sato's restaurant. Now, how does all this stuff factor in? Well, the 2 Bite Squad orders are actually within 5 minutes of each other in terms of drop-offs and restaurant pickups. The Sato location is actually 5 minutes away from the Tropical Smoothie drop-off. This Pho Viet drop-off is like 2-3 minutes away from its pickup location, and then the Grubhub drop-off is probably about 10 to 15 minutes away, but again, it's taking me on my side of town. So that's kind of where I'm at. Now, if altogether, these orders should total out to somewhere around $32, which will put me at about $102 for the hustle in about 2.5 hours. And we still got a little ways to go. The goal is still $125. And by the way, if you like the content that I've provided in this segment or in other segments, I need your help with subscribers. Hit that subscribe button. Give my content a thumbs up. I welcome your comments in the section below. You can say that I'm a dirty multitasker. I don't care. I call it just making my money. I'm doing my hustle. I'm doing me. I'm stacking multiple orders across multiple apps. That's what I'm doing. I gotta say, it's been a very busy night tonight. It was a good night to really try to make this happen. With the weather being inclement, it's cooler. It's been some rain earlier this evening, and now things have kind of cooled down for me. I think the craziness is that I had order requests coming in from all the apps. So as it stands, I've picked up the Grubhub saddles order, but I've also accepted a stacked Grubhub order from Papa John that's further out, but that's going to be after I also drop off a stacked DoorDash order from the Juicy Crab. Now, as it stands, one order, the DoorDash order, there's one DoorDash order I'm going to drop off first, then I'm going to drop off the Grubhub, then I'm going to drop off the second DoorDash order, and then pick up the second half of the Grubhub stack order, and I believe that's going to be it for the evening. Okay, quick update on the numbers. We are exactly at 3 hours into this evening hustle, and as it stands, I am, if I count the first Grubhub pickup, which is $13 and change, I'm at $102 and change for the evening hustle. So that's about what, $34. Not that great, but it's getting me there. Overall for the day, I'm at $202 and change. The goal for hitting, the goal that I need to hit for $1,400 for the entire day is about $220, about $230, $220, somewhere about between $228 and $230. The Juicy Crab is $14.50, plus the Grubhub is $13 and change. That's going to put me at $27 and change. And so that should put me about $229 and right on the dot again, kind of like a couple of weeks ago when I made $1,500 right on the dot. So I'm about to go inside and pick up the Juicy Crab, and we're about to do another mad geezer sprint for the end of the hustle. The first thing I'm going to say is respect my hustle. And the reason why I say respect my hustle, because it may look like it's crazy. It may look like that it's totally bonkers and I've mentioned that sometimes you have to have a love for chaos, but it's coordinated chaos some nights or some days, some hustles. And today was one of those examples of coordinated chaos. Now, things have slowed down to where I've got double stacked orders, DoorDash and Grubhub. And so now, in order how I'm going to do this, I'm dropping off a DoorDash first to an apartment complex, then the Grubhub, the first Grubhub from Saddles to an apartment complex, then the second DoorDash to a residence, and then the third is from Papa John. That's going to a residence further out as well. Now, the key place is going to be the first drop off, because that is an apartment complex with a gate there where it requires a gate code. Now, I have shared in some previous Gig Geezer segments how I recommend that you keep a running list of gate codes and apartment door codes and things like that. It is invaluable to have something like that. I started collecting or amassing these type of codes during my days at Amazon Flex, and we're talking 2018, 2019. And I have continued to add on whenever I notice in the customer instructions, the delivery instructions, where it has a gate code, particularly one that I've been able to use multiple times. I make sure that I keep that one saved to my chip and not to my phone. And then I also have another file in which I've kind of emailed to myself as well. So I have a couple ways of backup in order to keep this running list of codes. Again, it is invaluable. I mean, you get tired of trying to contact a person and they don't cooperate, or they don't leave information, and then you try to contact them, you're still not able to. They're famously non-available. So if there's a tip, if there's a pointer, if there's a trick that I am sharing with y'all tonight, keep that running list of gate codes and door codes and building codes, because you will need it at some point. And it doesn't matter if it is DoorDash, Grubhub, UberEats, or Bike Squad. It doesn't matter if it's even Amazon Flex or even in the most remote cases like the Federal Express Personal Vehicle Program. But these codes will be used at some point, and so that's why I recommend that you keep that running list. All right, so we've dropped off the Saddles order, which was Grubhub, and that paid $13.96, come to find out. And so we're at $102 and change for the second half hustle. Overall for the day, $215. Now I'm thinking that I needed $230, and actually I didn't need $230. And as I mentioned, all I needed was a typical geezer hustle of about $210, and I should hit $1,400. Well, it appears that the geezer is going to be right there after dropping off this DoorDash, and I may not need the second Grubhub. If anything, what I'll be doing is just running up the number now. At this juncture, first thing I'm going to say is thanks for hanging out with me at this segment of the Gig Geezer with the Gig Geezer's second half hustle. Hit that subscribe button. Give my content a thumbs up. I welcome your comments in the section below, and also share my content with others. Again, I really need your help with subscribers and with the views. Well, as I mentioned last week when I was wrapping things up, and I'll say it again, my intent is really to help you maximize your hustle. My intent is to help you make money. And I really believe that my experience in the gig economy can help you, and the things that I've shared with you so far in all these segments of the Gig Geezer can help you. All right, so we have dropped off the second of the two DoorDash orders. That one, as I mentioned, was the most important one because that definitely put me in a position to say that I earned at least $1,400 for the week. I may not have needed that one, but definitely based on my count. Now, there is also the Grubhub order that is still out there, $10. Well, I have decided I'm not going to go follow through with that one. I am throwing that one back. Now, the reason why I'm throwing it back is because the customer tells me through text message that she placed the order an hour and a half ago. She wants to know what's the holdup. And then Grubhub gives her an update indicating that it's going to be another 45 minutes before she gets her pizza. Well, I never responded to that. I rarely respond to customers when they send me messages like that. I try to be the person who initiates the contact and updating them as necessary in certain situations. Now, for that reason, that lady is going to go through her roof tonight because the trick that I'm going to pull is one in which I unassign the order, but I won't articulate exactly how I do it. I don't want you to get deactivated for that very reason. I've managed to pull this one off on numerous occasions through Grubhub, and I've yet to get a friendly, well-written email about it, and I plan on keeping it that way. With that said, based on my count, after dropping off the second DoorDash order, after I've given myself some time to work through the numbers, this second half hustle, $117.92 in 3.5 hours. Not bad. Although now, the Grubhub order definitely would have made it a strong hustle by that additional $10 because that would have put me at $127. But there are times when you ask yourself, is $10 worth it? Is $20 worth it? Or sometimes, is another $100 worth it? And usually, at least in my case, the answer is no. A resounding no. And so that's where I'm at. I don't feel the $10 is worth it. I don't feel the extra effort is worth it. I've made my money. For the day, overall, I made $231. Now, I put in, first half hustle, I put in a little over 3 hours in the first half hustle. And in the second half hustle, I put in 3.5 hours. So in 6.5 hours, I made $231. That's not bad at all. That's not a bad day for a Sunday. For the week, adding the $117 and change, that puts me at $1,402 for the week. And that was accomplished in exactly 6.5 days. Now, according to the app, for the entire week, I put in about 44, 45 hours. So 6.5 times 7 is 45.5 hours. So we're average just under 7 hours a day. And that's about right for my hustle, because this week has been rather consistent and rather consistent, and for all intents and purposes, rather solid as well. Now, as far as miles, again, I don't really concern myself with miles, because miles, as I've often said, is a 1099's best friend. So that's the rundown of the numbers with this particular day, this particular week, and this particular hustle. Hopefully the content that I have shared has helped you or encouraged you or informed you or maybe even entertained you in such a way that it will help you maximize your hustle and help you make money. Well, and while I'm at it, hey, if you don't mind, hit that subscribe button, give my content a thumbs up, share my content among others, and I welcome your comments in the section below. And with that, this is another segment of the Gig Geezer. I'm in Wood Lane, and as always, may your hustle continue. Thank you for checking out this segment of the Gig Geezer. If you reach this point, it means that you've checked it out in its entirety, and it's very much appreciated, and it tells YouTube that you're very much engaged in my content. Hey, if you'd like to get in contact with me or pass on some other useful information, I can be reached at giggeezer3.5@gmail.com, or you can check me out on Twitter at giggeezer.